Hello, and welcome back to the next video in the CRMCS Guide to Power BI series. In the last episode, we covered how to import your data using the Get Data tool as displayed at the top here, and then how to filter and transform your data so you could see limit exactly what you're interested in. In this episode, we're going to focus a bit more on the visualization side of things, which lets you do some advanced features on how to add the various controls you can see on the page here, which will display your information as the final report which your users will interact with. There's lots you can do with visualizations using the small table you see on the right over here. There's a number of different visualizations we can use, including stacked column and bar charts, line charts, pie charts, scatter charts, tables, slices, cards, and more. Even if you want to, you can even get more visuals using the Get More Visuals tab to load onto the Microsoft Store and find any custom or pre-made visuals. However, we won't be covering that in this video as that's a very advanced technique. If you wish to add a new visual to your report, simply click a visualization from your table over here. For example, we might want to add a line chart. Simply drag it to the position you're interested in, and then use the corners and edges of the visualization to resize it to the correct point. So we've got ourselves a little line chart here. If you're interested in using this line chart, we'll pull up our table here to make sure we've got room for our line chart. You use the field control over on the right here to choose which fields you'd like to add in. So for example, I'd like to add sale price by month. And you can see it's automatically figured out how to put the month name into the x-axis and the sale price into the y-axis. And we can see we've got a nice visualization of the sales per month over the years. If you want to add any more information, for example, if we want to include units sold, we can drag that onto there as well. And we can see two very distinct, unique lines appearing on our line chart. You can quite simply select a different visualization from your control over here. So for example, I might want to use this as a column chart instead. And now we can see it's quite nicely showed as October, December, all the way through to May as a column chart. You might decide that you want to have your sale price displayed on the top of the column instead of the bottom. So quite simply, if you click and drag, you'll see that little green line appears. If you let go, you'll see the two have switched. In a table, we go left to right rather than up to down. So for example, you can see we've got month name, average sales, sum of discounts, date, and then sum of profit. And we might decide you want your date to be alongside your month name, drag and drop, and it appears like so. Currency or numerical values. Sometimes you will see Power BI will automatically start summarizing your data. This includes things such as averages, sums, minimums and maximums, counts. If you click the little drop-down arrow, you can quite simply say, I want to change this to be a sum of sales rather than the average of sales. Or alternatively, you could say you don't want to summarize at all. You'll then see a lot more records appear, as obviously you'll now get a record for each and every single occurrence of sales. Whereas instead, if you go change it back to sum, you'll see your data cuts back down a bit again. Alternatively, with the drop-down, you can also do things such as rename for this visual, which lets you say, I don't want to call this sum of sales, I just want to call this sales. Click that. You'll see it will update sales on there, and you'll see just sales appear on here rather than sum of discounts or sum of sales. With certain fields such as months and dates, if you click the drop-down, you can see we've got date versus date hierarchy. A date will show you a very simple style, which you can control using the date field, which I'll show you in just a moment. But if you wish to instead really drill down, you can hit date hierarchy instead. And then this splits the date out across month, quarter, year, and day. So it may decide you don't want to see the quarter and you don't want to see the day. And then you'll see we've just got year and month. Alternatively, you can switch back over to date, and then it clumps it all together into one nice date again. If you click the date field, you can see up here, we have our field format. So for example, I've set it currently to the long date, so we'll have 14th of March 2001, as you can see displayed here. You might decide you want the short date instead. It will take a brief moment to update. And then you'll see we've now got 01/04/2014 per the short date. And there's a few different options you can choose from on this dropdown, but for now, I'm going to leave it with the long date that we had in. In the advanced features of a visual, you can do a lot in terms of controlling how the visual looks. For example, you can change the details of the y-axis, like the font. So, for example, we're going to set that to DIN, and you can see our y-axis has now changed its font style. On the very bottom down there, you can change the size of the text, the color of the text. So, for example, you can have a nice dark blue. So it really gives you a real deep dive into how you want to control your visualizations. And I'd recommend spending some time exploring and playing with what you think is correct for your report. For example, that lets you control how you want your visualizations to match your company colors. You can see down here, we can even go into the depths of being able to control the colors of the columns. So, for example, we can change our unit solds from a blue to a nicer dark orange. And then in the general, you can include things such as the height, if you want to make sure that everything's in multiples of 10s and 5s. And then you can include the position if you want to really get down into fine-tuning of where everything on the report sits. So it really lets you control exactly how you want every visualization to work. One of the really important features that you can find on BI, which highlights it as a unique tool, is the drill down capability. You can see here we've added month name on the drill down on the drill through control section. On our final page over here, you can see we've got a similar table of information where we have also included a different another drill through. Currently, this one's set to being to looking for July from a previous example. But if we make our way back over to our table, and if I say, if you click on your table like so, hit your data drill and drill through, and then hit January, drill through, final page, you'll now see our information as a whole on this page with our visualizations has now filtered down every single visualization to only show January values. So our table shows all of the products that were sold throughout January. Our column chart shows the gross sales by January 2014, and our pie chart is limited to everything, as is our line graph. If you click the back arrow up here, you can make your way back out to the table and decide I want to see November 2014 instead. And then now we'll see all of the November 2014 values. So it's a very handy tool to let you really pinpoint the information you're specifically interested in, rather than having to apply filters like you would on CRM. And you don't have to drill through just by one level. If you want, you can drill through as many pages as you want to really pinpoint down to the exact specifics of the information you're interested in, which is a very handy tool. So I hope you've learned something in this video. In the next video, we'll be covering more things such as conditional formatting and filtering on your actual visualizations, which lets you do things such as change the background of fields in your columns depending on the values inserted in them. If you want to stay updated, please go visit www.crmcs.co.uk and subscribe to our YouTube channel to be updated of any future videos. I hope you've enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.